Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's well, and congratulations to you all. Thank you very much, Justin, for the speech. It was amazing. And thank you to the RICS for inviting me to speak today. So I am glad to be here at the beginning of what is your professional journey. Some may argue that you only begin as a professional once you become qualified. So I'm glad to be here with you today, and I would like to start by congratulating you all for your triumph. My name is Adewole Ademolake, and I'm honored to be here today. I am a chartered planning and development surveyor, and I run a property development company called A-Lake, and I have a podcast called the Property Development Book Club. I stand here knowing that we have shared a similar journey through the APC process. I'm congratulating you because I know that you would have gone through a very difficult journey. But irrespective of your motivations behind getting qualified, your pathway or your company, your triumph in becoming qualified is exceptional, and you should be proud of yourselves. So I would like to share in your joy today. My relationship with construction started at the age of 15 when my mother introduced me to her friend who was a building surveyor and asked him to mentor me. His view was that I was too dynamic to be stuck behind the desk and thought I would be better becoming a building surveyor. His pitch to me was that I would get a company car. And at 15, I thought to myself, sold. So following my GCSEs, I enrolled in a BTEC in construction in 2004. I was oblivious to the property and construction industry. The one thing I did know at the time is that I loved business. I recall that my first conversations with my tutors was, when will I learn about the business part of construction? In which their response was, on day 2. The course touched on everything from health and safety, AutoCAD, design, building surveying, valuation, estimating, and land surveying. The course was foundational in helping me formulate my views on what part of the construction industry I wanted to get into. Unfortunately for me, I had never been on a building site, which made it difficult for me to understand what I was being taught. I was reviewing plans, I was reading books, learning about construction methods, but I just couldn't grasp how all of these building components fit together. As an aspiring musician, my grades during my first year did not meet the mark, which led to questions as to whether I should continue on the course. The turning point for me was when my dear mother, who's seated in the front over there, took time off work to help me with a land surveying module, where she assisted in helping and holding the leveling staff, whilst I used a dumpy level to take measurements in a college car park. I still have that photo with me till this day. My tutors saw a mother dedicated to their child's success. At that moment, I realized that my success or failure would directly impact those who are dear to me. I had to make a change and dedicated my efforts to improving my grades. So I would like to say to everyone on this side of the room, I would like to thank you for all of your support, because they will not be chartered without you being here today. So thank you very much. And I gained, during that whole experience, I gained the badge of realization. My tutors gave me a lifeline and said they will allow me to redo parts of my first year of college whilst completing my second year. I was working double time, and the tutors gave me the support I needed to succeed. Through my hard work and dedication, through the support of my family and my lecturers, I was able to succeed in getting merits in my college course and received a Jack Petrie Award for the most improved student. So I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude, firstly to my mother and my brother who's seated over there, my uncle Chris, who introduced me to the profession, as well as my lecturers, Richard Saunders and Derek. In autumn 2006, at the age of 18, I embarked on a building surveying degree at the University of Brighton. I recall attending CPDs, matrix events, but still didn't quite understand what the RICS was. I was unable to reconcile how surveying would help me in my business aspirations. But I did see the value of the knowledge gained during my degree. At the end of my second year, I was lucky enough to have secured an interview with the Crown Estate. Amazing. I was excited and daydreamed of working on some of the most prized buildings in the world. I recall receiving a fancy letter inviting me to the interview. As I walked through the gates of central London, I remember going through security and looking around in awe whilst interacting with a pivotal part of British culture. As I inhaled to experience the full sense of where I was, I thought, not bad for a young East Londoner of Nigerian descent. During the interview, I learnt that one of the interviewers attended my old secondary school 30 years beforehand. In my mind, the job was written in the stars for me. But then they asked me one question, which was, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And I naively responded by saying, running my own business. I saw the puzzled look on the interviewers' faces, and as I walked through the estate to be let out, I saw a glimpse of disappointment in one of the interviewers' faces. I guess he may have wanted me to get the job. Unsurprisingly, I was unsuccessful. I then went on to finish my degree, where I achieved a 2-2 with honours. I applied for hundreds of graduate roles, but couldn't get into the industry as the recession in 2009 was a raging fire. I took a detour and worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, which was fundamental in helping me build my business experience, confidence, and interpersonal skills. One day in the summer of 2010, I recalled delivering a car to Brentwood, and behold, I saw Countryside Properties to my right, and I saw JTS Partnerships to my left. I went into both offices and asked if they had any openings. As the famous saying goes, I had to speculate to accumulate. JTS Partnerships got back in touch with me, offering me an expenses-only internship. I did not hesitate to leave a paid job to get into the property industry. I shadowed a building surveyor, which was phenomenal, but during the time, I'd realized that I did not have an interest for building surveying, but loved planning and development. I recall overhearing one of the consultants talking about building homes, viability appraisals, land deals, and I was intrigued. I even shadowed a planning consultant to a meeting on securing planning permission for a large residential scheme in East London. As I sat in that meeting, I dreamed of one day becoming a property developer. This was in 2010 when I was 22 years old. To my surprise, the internship was cut short to only 2 months. And as much as I was grateful for the internship, I was terribly upset that I didn't get offered the trainee role. I then moved on to lettings, but my desire to be in property development was birthed. I applied for my master's in real estate development and investment at Greenwich University, and I was accepted onto the course. Half of the course fees was covered by someone very dear to me, and without their support and belief in me, I would not be here speaking today. So at this moment, I would like to thank Auntie Toyin, who decided to invest into my future, and I would like to say thank you to her again. The course embodied my ambitions for numbers, planning permission, the bigger picture. During my BTEC, I couldn't articulate what I wanted, but this master's defined my ambitions. Prior to me starting my master's, I found another unpaid internship with Inspired Asset Management, who focused on subdividing flats and buying properties at auctions. This is where I got to clearly understand how property development works. A quarter way through my master's, I took an avoidable detour where I secured a non-property related role with GlaxoSmithKline to sell medicine. I thought I was set for life, and I secured a role in a blue chip company, and I was willing to walk away from the property industry. I remember discussing my decision with my mum and walking into my lecturer's offices to say that I was leaving the course. Both my mum and lecturer asked or advised that I defer the course and not quit it. As much as I was making a bad decision to leave, the one decision I do not regret was that I listened to their advice. Working at GlaxoSmithKline was a great opportunity. I got to travel around the country. I had a company car at 23, with the perceived prestige that came with working for one of the biggest companies in the world. I was selling incredibly well, but wasn't doing so well in other aspects. My shortcomings led to my contract being terminated after 7 months, which absolutely shattered me. I gained the badge of disappointment. This was in July 2012, during the London Olympics, and I recall being on the edge of depression. My brother suggested that I take a 40-day hiatus, and like Jesus Christ, I fasted for 40 days. And it became clear to me after that period that I needed to go back to complete my master's. Luckily for me, I was able to continue my course in September 2012 because I heeded the great counsel of my mother and my lecturer. I dived deeply into the course because I believed that being in property development was my destiny. I was able to secure a distinction in my master's. I had to turn the pain that I felt when working with GSK, when I lost that job, I had to turn it into something positive. And I guess that was the result. This was in 2013. And at that point, I gained the badge of triumph. I decided I will find a way into property development by any means necessary. I secured a role as a site sales officer with Metropolitan Housing Association, which involves selling shared ownership homes. I was interacting with development teams, and 6 months later, I secured my first role as a development officer for Gateway Housing Association, and I would like to thank John Walton for the opportunity. Since then, I've worked on one-unit schemes, and I've been responsible for the delivery of 3,000 homes. I have been directly responsible for circa £600 million worth of development and overseen large regeneration projects in London. Naively, I thought that getting qualified was unattainable if you didn't work for one of the big consultancies. On my first day at working at Brent Council, my manager, Sarah Rana, said it was important for me to become a qualified surveyor. She said the council will not pay my fees, but will only provide support. The next day, I applied and started my APC. My day-to-day activities involve managing consultants, running development appraisals, chairing project meetings, writing business cases, attending site meetings, negotiating, looking for land, and leading projects, which effectively summarizes into being a professional client. Getting chartered for me meant that I would be recognized for my competence by various parties who I work with. I had the vision that getting qualified will set me apart when I set up my business. I commenced my APC at the age of 27 and had my first attempt at the interview at the age of 29. My goal was to get qualified before 30. I recall pacing back and forth during my revision, similar to you guys, I'm sure, and was extremely nervous. Like many of you, I couldn't sleep the day before my interview. As I walked into the interview room, as far as I was concerned, I was filled to the brim with information. I knew I had tried my best, but fortunately, I was referred. The referral was bleak and the feedback was balanced. This was in June 2018. Soon after my referral, I thought that I was unlikely going to pass my APC where I was working at the time. So I decided to find a new job that would give me the experience I needed to pass the APC through the planning and development pathway. Through a LinkedIn post by a contact who worked for Countryside Properties, I was able to get an interview and secure the job when considering I had left my CV there 11 years beforehand. As a development manager in one of the largest house builders in the UK, I gained a vast amount of experience in planning and development. After a lot of mock interviews, tons of reading, and encouragement from my wife and child, who sit in front over there, I passed the second time. This was in June 2020. I was 31. What I gained here was the badge of delayed gratification. Thank you to Dan Layton, Alex Cook, Sarah Rana, Kwejo Mensah, and Kasima Folabi, and the various other people who took time to support me during this time. The amount of intensity that goes into the assessment of professional competence is substantial, and I thought I couldn't put myself through that process again. But my supportive wife kept reminding me that I had to finish what I started. I sometimes questioned the value of the qualification, as I had secured good roles without it, but I knew deep down I needed to become qualified. Between the first and the second time I did my APC, I became a father to a beautiful baby girl, and on her birth certificate, I had to write the title, Development Manager. In the back of my mind, I really wanted to write Chartered Surveyor. But I was not qualified yet. Soon after my second attempt at the APC, we found out that we were having a second child. My adorable daughter, second daughter, was born in May 2021, and I was finally able to write Chartered Surveyor on my second daughter's birth certificate. I was able to gain the badge of legacy. The love, the support, the belief, the encouragement that I received to date really helped me in my professional and personal life. Gwen Fireme and Uncle Ladipe, who are no longer here with us today, helped me to see that my dreams can indeed become a reality. Also, my older brother, Adewole Ademolake, who's seated over there, who is here today, instilled in me that focusing on the desired outcome is a superpower. Watching him follow his passion for education helped me in following my passion for property development. His mantra that he repeated to me without fail every morning was, follow one course until success. That is the mantra behind focus. Follow one course until success. Due to them and the countless other people I've mentioned, I have been able to gain the badge of gratitude. Some of you may question why I keep referring to badges. This is mainly inspired by my children's love for Dougie. If you know Dougie, he is a dog who takes children on wild adventures. I will suggest that you utilize the useful CPD and tune in to CBBC, where you can see how these badges are gained. But in all seriousness, badges are gained through experience, and every experience leads you onto another badge. Today, you are able to call yourselves chartered surveyors with the words FRICS, MRICS, or Associate RICS behind your name. I believe that these badges will open doors before your eyes. I want you to take a moment to think about your achievement as we're here today. I want you to think that perhaps you may change the world with it. I want you to look around, capture your thoughts and feelings in this precise moment, because today is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Today, you are part of those keeping the RICS legacy alive to bring professionalism and excellence to the general public, and that perhaps one of your names may be written on one of these wooden walls. Whether it's through business, thought leadership, attaining more senior roles, or spearheading change, your attainment is an example that you are capable of remarkable things. So I have worked in various developing entities through my employment history, which include Brent Council, Be First, Countryside Properties, to name a few. Now I run my own property development company called A-Lake, or Alake. I recently purchased my first plot of land and have a number of option agreements with a number of landowners. My dream came true after 19 years, following my first conversation with my lecturers about business and construction. I want to say this to you today, that the world is truly yours. The qualification that you have secured is your passport to the world. And I mean that literally. For me, the qualification gives us the confidence to walk into any property-related room and know that you have a right to be at the table. Interestingly, a landowner said to me, I was trying to buy his land, and he said to me that he was only willing to sell the land to me because I was a chartered surveyor. I have personally and professionally experienced the true value of being a chartered surveyor. In this room, there are hundreds of inspirational stories, and I hope that my short summary of my professional life to date has showed you the benefits of professional attainment, and that anything worth having does not come easy, but with determination and a little bit of support, anything is possible. I hope that you would have gleaned from my story that the road may be rocky and the water may be rough. You may even get lost from time to time. But the trick to success, in my view, is that you keep going no matter what. The 24th of October 2023 is a day to remember. It's a day when your hard work has been crowned with a world-recognized qualification. But amidst the celebrations and great expectations, I would like to challenge you with a few thoughts. Climate change has led to the world experiencing some of the highest global temperatures on record. Research suggests that climate change can increase the intensity of storms and rainfall, similar to what we've seen in the recent storm Babbitt in Derbyshire, the severe flooding in New York, and the devastating flood in Libya, which claimed 11,000 precious lives. Our world is changing, and the real impacts are undeniable. The need for more housing and the supporting infrastructure with growing populations is greater than ever before. The impacts of global conflicts and our role in playing our part in rebuilding communities is arguably all of our collective responsibility. The need to preserve heritage is even more important due to the impacts of globalization. As qualified surveyors, I challenge you all to be part of the solution. We, as the members of the RICS, have a great influence over our shared built environment, so let us use this influence for good. So I would like to thank you all for your time today and I wish you all the best in your journeys, and I would like to welcome you all to the profession. So I'd like to call Craig back to the stage and thank you all. Thanks.